Hey guys, so in today's video, I'll be exposing Matt Mason from Lion of Fire Ministries. So the reason why I'm exposing this unsaved devil is because he preaches a false gospel by backloading works into the gospel. He has this stupid video titled The Free Grace Gospel Exposed. It's a mockery of God's grace. Now, only an unsaved devil like him would make a video like this. And this sorry loser, he also attacked a true brethren, defender of the faith. Now I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below because he's an excellent free grace teacher who exposes unsaved devils like Matt Mason. And believe it or not, this unsaved devil even has a playlist called Free Grace, aka Cheap Grace Gospel Exposed, and in that playlist it has 7 videos. So he mocks free grace by calling it cheap grace, and this just proves that he's unsaved and a hell-bound reprobate who spawned straight out of hell. Matthew 7 verse 15. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves.
When a person is born again, a transformation takes place at that born again experience, and the evidence of that transformation is a transformed life of righteous living. Now, this doesn't mean sinless perfection, but rather it is a change of affection. This doesn't mean that these works merit our salvation. They do not in any way. They are not at all meritorious. They are simply the evidence of the transformation that takes place at the born again experience.
So according to this sorry excuse of a human being, Matt Mason, when a person is born again, a transformation takes place at that born again experience. And the evidence of that transformation is a transformed life of righteous living. So to simplify this, he's essentially saying that if you're born again, then you'll live a righteous life. That's what he's saying. And that's a false gospel because it's making living righteously part of salvation. And it's a work, and works have nothing to do with salvation according to the Bible. Ephesians 2 verse 8 to 9. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. So according to this verse, works have nothing to do with salvation because it says not of works. And it says it's a gift from God, so you can't earn a gift, you can only receive a gift. And you receive the gift of everlasting life by faith alone in Christ alone. And if salvation were of works, then people would be able to boast. And it says, lest any man should boast. So works have nothing to do with salvation. And Matt Mason is subtly backloading works into the gospel by saying that if you're born again, a transformation takes place which is proven by righteous living. That's what he's saying. So if you don't live righteously, then that proves you aren't born again, according to the stupid devil Matt Mason. Romans 11 verse 6. And if by grace, then it is no more of works. Otherwise grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it is no more grace. Otherwise work is no more work. So it's either grace or works. It can't be both. Salvation is either 100% grace or it's 100% works. And according to Ephesians 2 verse 8 to 9, salvation is of grace. So that means salvation can't be of works. That means works have nothing to do with salvation. A work is something other than faith in Christ alone. Romans 4 verse 5. But to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justifieth the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness. So it's clearly telling us that the one that believes on Christ alone is justified, and the one that doesn't believe on Christ alone isn't justified. So another clear example, works have nothing to do with salvation. It's simple. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 18. For the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness, but unto us which are saved it is the power of God. So the only reason why Matt Mason thinks that free grace is a mockery of God's grace and calls it cheap grace is because he's unsaved and going to hell. Galatians 1 verse 7, which is not another, but there be some that trouble you and will pervert the gospel of Christ. So, Mad Mason, he's a filthy, disgusting pervert who perverts the gospel of Christ, leading people to hell with his false gospel. And when he goes to hell, he can take his stupid video with him. 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 15. Therefore it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. So Matt Mason, he's a minister of righteousness who doesn't have God's imputed righteousness on him because he hasn't believed on Christ, which means he's unsaved. And his end will be according to his works. He's trusting in his filthy, disgusting rags to get him to heaven. And it's pathetic and sorry. And how stupid do you have to be to actually think that God will accept your filthy rags, like this unsaved devil Matt Mason thinks. So a great verse that the unsaved Matt Mason hates is Romans 3 verse 24. Being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus. Notice how it says freely by his grace. Boom, that proves free grace. Galatians 1 verse 8 to 9. But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that he hath preached unto you, let him be accursed. As we said before, so I say now again, if any man preach any other gospel unto you than that he hath received, let him be accursed. So Matt Mason preaches a different gospel, so let him be accursed. Let him go to hell where he belongs.